All right, traders, what's going on? I completely botched last week and I did not get a video out. So we're basically gonna kind of go through everything on the side of where we ended up last month. We're gonna go through the trades from last week. We're gonna go through the trades from yesterday, which was just one trade, and then the trades from today. So to start us all off, we will go over the trades from last month. So September, and we'll start from there. So it's going to kind of be an all-in-one type video. So you can see we ended up making right under $400, around 89% win rate, profit factor 4.45. However, we only had 45 trades. It was a pretty slow month overall. It wasn't that great, but I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can literally, so 40 out of 45, we only had 5 losses on the entire month. And it was really just one bigger one. It was 66, and then the next one was 35. So nothing too crazy. Just kind of a boring month of September. Wasn't anything too special. So we fast forward to this month, we can see where we are overall so far. This is including a decent loss on Tilray, which we did get some of it back, but not as much as we had liked. But as you can see, in the first 11 days, we're at $183, 81% win rate, 2.29 profit factor. And this will lead us into the charts from this past week. So starting on August 3rd, I have all my charts here. We'll just roll through these. So VSAT ended up being, let's see if we can make these a little bit bigger. There we go. First trade on VSAT, you're going to see a lot of similarities, guys. A lot of this is kind of just beating a dead horse as far as kind of going over my charts. They all end up kind of looking the same, especially now that I'm in being a lot more consistent. And you're going to see that. So sometimes I take more than one picture just to kind of go back and review my trades to see what they did afterwards. So you can see I took a couple there on VSAT. Here was the end of the VSAT day, which where is the, so it's the next chart. So I was gonna say I had a trade on DWAC as well, but you can see VSAT, we ended up actually red overall on it, which it looks like we were trying to catch leftovers. It came up, tagged us, ended up being a loss. And that was kind of annoying because could have been green, way green. DWAC, you can see, I'm not sure where we got this level. It was probably off the daily. And then as you can see, we just got the nice pullback right there. So the next day, these are from the 4th, and IMVT. I do remember this one. This one was kind of a pain in the butt. Kept coming down and hitting our take profit orders. We were on the bid a couple times. We ended up adding on the backside here, looking for the nice move back down. And we did get a decent little move out of that. And as you can see, I tried to get more out of it. Ended up stopping out the rest there. Didn't mean to click so fast. TUP, pretty standard play, up through a $0.5 whole dollar, came back down, got the retest of the $0.5. Probably didn't have enough share size to try to scale out of this one, so we ended up just taking the whole thing. There's IMVT. We took a second trade on this. As you can see, it went up through the $0.5. Actually got all the way up to almost the next whole dollar. And we got the retest of the $0.5. So that was a pretty good second trade there on IMVT. APTN, I remember this one. We put an order out at 177. It was sitting there while it was trying to make this move. It went up to 176 and rejected. That was a little bit frustrating. And here's the final for October 4th. $61 there. Now keep in mind, you can always go in the Discord. Like if there's days where I don't post a video, which I'm going to start posting the daily videos again with the live trades after today. I just had to get caught up today. You can always go on the Discord. I have a channel in the Discord. It's called, I believe, Profit Loss on the Day or Daily. Yeah, it's Daily Profit Loss. And I always post this chart, this position screen at the end of the day. So if you're ever curious what I'm doing, if you don't check Twitter, I don't post this. I only post this in the Discord. So if you're ever curious, like how much I made, and you don't want to wait till the end of the day, I'm posting this around 12 to 1 o'clock every day because I'm not trading after 12 o'clock anymore for the time being, anyways. And so if you're ever curious and you just want to jump in there and check it, you can. I'd appreciate it. But if you could always come back, like and subscribe, and hit the little bell notification, all that good stuff for the YouTube algorithm as well. After I post the video, that would be pretty awesome of you as well. So on to the 5th of October. ATEC was a pretty good one. It popped up, started this one because it was a pretty nice move out of the gate, looking for that 1020 area through the whole dollar. It decides to keep going. We get into the 70s through the half dollar. It's where we get our ad, and it comes right back down. And this actually ended up being a pretty good trade. Chewy, I remember this one being a bit frustrating. I believe I split this ad in half. I think it was a 1 and then a half and a half, because I didn't want to not get an ad when it came up here and tested the whole dollar of 35, but I feel like it struggled and it didn't necessarily want to give us the pop through, but then it did. And we ended up getting it anyway. So I want to say that this was a half. I'm pretty sure it was. And as you can see, this was 2 different trades based off of where the take profits were. This was the first trade. And then I believe we wanted to start this full size up to 35, didn't get it. So we split it in half and we ended up scaling out there. CRKN, penny stock, decent little move there. Not sure. I don't remember how many shares I took on that one. I want to say it was 500. So it wasn't anything too crazy. And then it started to make another move. I don't think we got back into that one. No, we didn't. So YPF, pretty standard move up through a whole dollar. Nice little decent move up into the 20s. Get short, scale out as it comes back down towards that previous resistance. And here was the final of that day. CRKN, Chewy, and YPF. Where was the IMVT trade? Was that the day prior? Oh, that's this one. The IMVT charts have a date of the 4th on them. Oh, that's right there. So it was part of, okay. Or the ATEC chart. That was the one I was thinking of. Or the ATEC chart was there. It was just at the end of the day. Yeah, the ATEC chart is the one I was thinking of. Sorry. Okay. On to the 6th. And I'm sorry that this is kind of like just a presentation, but it kind of is what it is. So AVDL, this is actually on the 5th. Yep, this is on the 5th, along with YPF and CRKN. And this one was, I believe we took half off on this one. And then it went back up and we ended adding that half back and then scaling out. I don't remember that one being that big of a trade. Yeah. So this was the end of the 5th, which you can kind of see all up there anyway. Yeah, I remember this AVDL. Pretty frustrating when that happens. I remember posting about that on Twitter. PRVB. This is actually one I really, really wanted to trade today. I'm a little sad that I didn't. We'll kind of get into that. But this was on the 6th. As you can see, standard through the whole dollar, got an entry, got an ad, and scaled out. Was obviously looking for more down through 6, but it didn't want to give it to us. I believe we get a second trade on this one. It was actually a backside trade. It was a fake out, so we jumped back in for the fake out and actually worked out. So we tried to trail it, and then I remember it just didn't want to break down. And I believe it actually ended up going higher. MSOS. So this is the day of Tilray, because I remember MSOS and all the other pot stocks went, CGC, Tilray, all of them. And our Tilray chart's going to look a little messy. I got a little emotional with this one, and I am not going to say that I didn't. So be pre-warned. But MSOS, we never actually ended up trading it again. The second time, just grabbed that first one, and I realized that Tilray and MSOS were basically trading off the same news. So I didn't want to be in 2 things that were basically trading the same. And so yeah, I'm just basically taking pictures of watching that go crazy. But here's how Tilray started. And Tilray was another one that was very frustrating because it kept bouncing off our take profits like to the penny. And you can go, anybody in the Discord can kind of tell you, I was bitching nonstop about this. I got very emotional about it because I added here, came down a little bit, and it bounced right off where my take profit was. I come up, so this was a 112. It comes down right here, bounces off where my take profit was. And then as it went up there, we actually cut these top shares off. So it was 100, 100, 200. So I had 400 shares of this. And it came down and we ended up cutting 200, add this 200 back. It comes down. This is where our average was. End up taking these off break even, which was a loss at this point because we already cut some for a loss. And it starts to come back up, goes high of day, we cut it. We added these shares back again, basically saying if this wasn't the top, we're going to cut it if it goes back to the highs. And it did go back to the highs. And this isn't the crazy part. It's going to get a little more crazy. So we end up getting back in on the backside. I believe we started with 200, 400, then we added 400, and then we added another 400 because we ended up with 1,200 shares of this. And we took some off here, but then I think we added all of them back. I forget exactly how we got the 1,200, but we got there. And basically, if we had cut at the top here with those 1,200, what it came out to about a $270 loss is what I think it was like 275. So it wouldn't have been like horrible. I had 100 realized loss over here on the full cut before we got back in. So I would have added another $170 loss to that 170, 175. But it did end up working out. And this is the trade where we made back like $60 of the $100 loss. We actually got it down to where we were only down like $30, $33, I think it was. And up to that point, that put us down, I think like $13 on the day. But then I kept on going, trying to get green on the day. And so here you can see we were down $44, not 33. And it put us down about $13 on the day. And I remember saying, oh, I can probably, because Tilray never pulled back at this point, as you're going to see. But I ended up making it worse. I tried to get back in. I thought I took another picture of it. Yeah, I did. So I ended up getting back in here on the retest of the highs, thinking that we can get a quick little pullback and I can make that $15 real quick and I can be green on the day. Like that was my thought process at this point. However, it goes up. I decided to add, assuming this might be a fake out breakout, and it wasn't. So we ended up cutting it. I realized that it might have been a fake out breakout. We get back in again, and I basically hold until the close, literally to the last second. And these ended up coming off break even. So I didn't gain anything on that last trade. So as you can see, I got a little bit emotional on the Tilray trade. We ended up losing, it was $66 overall on it, $68. After fees and commissions on this day, I remember going back and looking, it was $62 total. So basically double what we ended up red. Should have just cut it when we were down 13. Would have been happier with myself with that, but unfortunately that's not what we did, but it is what it is. COMP, this was the start of the 7th, which I believe is Friday, right? Yep. Or no, I think the 8th was Friday. Nope, 7th was Friday. So this was Friday. TGA, pretty quick trade there. Decent little extension. Got it on the way back down. BKD, same thing. This actually came out of a halt, went up through the whole dollar. I believe I split this one in half as well. Anytime it gets up close to a $0.50 whole dollar, and I think it still has potential to go through, but it's struggling to get through, I'll take whatever my starter was going to be and I'll split it in half. And in this case, I'm assuming that's exactly what I ended up doing. Took half, it went up through 5. And that's why you'll see me add a little bit under 520 in this case, because I'm just getting the remaining part of that starter and I'm okay with it. Just kind of playing the price action at that point. But as you can see, this ended up working out. Tried to let this come all the way back down to that 450 area and it just didn't want to do it. So that was a little bit frustrating. And here was I didn't see the AEHR trade. Did I pass it? No, maybe I just didn't get to it yet. Oh, it's because it's going to be the last one because it's the first trade of the day. Where's it at? There it is. So AEHR, pretty typical up through the whole dollar, 1620s. And this one actually came down and gave us a nice little push back down through 16. You didn't see me take that one at 16. So that was actually a pretty decent trade. And yeah, this is, I believe, yesterday's BTU. We only have one trade. Yep. Never got the ad on it because it started the grind, was looking for up through 2850 if it wanted to give us an ad. Never gave it to us, gave us a nice little flush, and we ended up taking it off. And then here's today. And we can go to the actual charts for this one. So we'll just start with the MO because that was our first trade. This one was a pretty decent trade. You can see previous resistance all the way down here at 43. Came up, made a nice little move, started to curl, and then made our actual real nice move. Up through 44.37 was the previous high, went all the way up to 45. And this was, again, another one where I wanted it up through 45 straight through. We had 100 shares loaded in our montage. However, it started to struggle. So we took 50 and then it ended up going up through. Actually, I ended up having to get this back as it came back down through because, as you can see, it only got up to a high of 45.08, and we got the full 100 there, and it came down. That actually ended up being a pretty nice trade on the MO to start us off. VTRS, this was kind of a crap trade. It's a huge company, but it did make a pretty nice move. However, the range on it wasn't that great. We just threw 100 shares at it, hoping to get that quick flush down, just looking for 10 cents real quick, just to scalp it. But unfortunately, it came down to 24. Our order was at 19, and it climbed right back up to our average. So we just took it off, and as you can see, it was break even. And our last trade of the day was WNW. This was a pretty good one. Came up right off the scanner. I actually started this one earlier than everybody else. I guess I pulled it up too quick because right when I jumped in, it jumped right up to basically the halt price. I hit it right before the halt price because I saw it was at 121. So I put an order out at 118, expecting it to possibly hit it and then flush back down. However, it did not. It actually did halt at 121. We had 400 shares here. Was looking for the big push up through like 135 to 140 to get the 400 additional shares. So we would have did a 112. However, it just kind of sat here in the same area, and it started to come back down. And our average was at 113. And as you can see, it got to 109 several times, and it kept trying to go higher up through 113. You can see it went back up to 115, and then it went back up to 114. And I think it was like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 times it got to that 109 and just wouldn't break down. And I finally said, if I see 112, I don't want to let this all go back up if it tries to bounce. And so I saw 112, it took half off, and it did, like on that candle, it did try to go back up to 114. But then eventually it worked its way down, and we took 75% of the remaining shares, which was 200. So we took 150 off at 102. And I tried to let these go to low a day. I really did. But it was just really weird price action. It would try to get down to $1, and then it would spike up to 108. Try to get down to $1, spike up to 108. Try to get down to $1, spike up to 108. And it kept doing that. And then it started to go sideways above that $1 area. And I was like, just going to keep my trail in there, which happened to be at 111 at the time. We ended up getting filled at 112. But I was really hoping this could have been one of those ones where it just faded down a low a day and could have made a decent amount on the leftovers there. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. It came up and stopped us out. So puts us at $38 on the day. Nothing too special. Really just waiting for some real good moves. Like WNW was a good move. Had this worked out, had it come down to 103 where our take profit order was, it would have been a $40 trade. So it would have basically doubled our day almost. Just it's getting frustrating because I am trying to use bigger size when I see the better moves. It's also unfortunate too that I started this one early, because had I just started this one with 200 shares up here, it would have been a pretty decent trade as well. Had we, ran into this issue, we take half off there and then another half there, and we still would have made more money that way too. So sometimes it's just not going to work out. And that's okay, right? We're still green. We're still trucking in the right direction. The overall P&L curve is looking healthy. And as long as I can keep doing that and start scaling slowly as we move, I feel okay with that. So that's all I got. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I always appreciate that support. I look forward to the videos. I'm going to start putting out live trading videos again as of tomorrow. I'm also going to be trying to turn those into some shorts where it's like, just a condensed version of the live trades, see if those start to help the channel out a little bit. But the best thing you can do to help the channel out is if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I know there are a bunch of people that watch that aren't. And when you do, hit the little bell notification. So every time I do upload a video, I don't know if it does it for shorts, but hopefully it does. And you'll get notified right away. So I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.